Welcome back, beautiful people, to another session on the Android 72. How are you feeling? I hope you are feeling very few. So, ladies and gentlemen, on the 22nd of June 2026, we got a report because something unprecedented happened. And a lot of people have been messaging me to talk about this, and I feel like it's time to do it. Because the Alliance of Sahel States, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they officially withdrew from the International Criminal Court of Justice with immediate effect. Now, when people looked at the language they used as immediate effect, people were like, are you serious? All right, Burkina Faso just removed the French diplomat to Burkina Faso. So the diplomatic mission of France to Burkina Faso as we speak is currently over. And when you look at the different decisions the Alliance of Sahel States have been making recently, up until this point, it is like this is too consistent, it's too coherent, it's too simultaneous to be false. They are going somewhere. And the way they are moving so strategic to the point where by the time they take that big step to remove every influence that can impact their geopolitical sovereignty, it will be too late for the enemies of this state to respond, to react, to do anything about it. From their partners to how they assert their sovereignty to their decision making, they are doing a very, very phenomenal job. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about it because they did not ask for the permission of anybody, right? They did not negotiate, they just walked out. Because after they made this report, we heard that there were some European missions that were trying to have a conversation with Burkina Faso, but Burkina Faso was not ready to have it. Now, the name of this diplomatic vision was the European Union envoy to Burkina Faso and across the entire Alliance of Sahel. They call him Jao Cravinio. Burkina Faso did not even entertain him. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys are too bold at this point. So, now the question every single person is asking is, what does this really mean? And why are they making this move now? Because that is what a lot of people used to say. When the Alliance of Sahel makes certain move, they'll be like, oh, why are they doing it now? I think they should have done it a long time ago. So we're going to talk about it. Now, you see, let me tell you something. For decades, there have been a proverb on the African continent. Because everything I say, I like, incorporating the proverbs of Africa because it's seasoned like the fine wine. You see, you've heard it before. I know some of you have heard it. That until the lion tells its own story, right? Every story will glorify the hunter. And the hunter in this situation is France, is, the United Kingdom, is Germany for Namibia. It's a lot of storytelling from these guys that have not even done anything good to influence a positive story when it comes to when it comes to the interest and the history of Africa. But that is not the conversation of today, right? So this time around, the lion just picked up the pen. And the lion has just announced to the world that it's about time I write my own story. So who is the lion here? Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. So if people want to continue to complain, they can continue complaining, but they've written their own story and they're marching on. So, all right, let me break down exactly what just happened because the details matter very, very much. Because on the 22nd of June 2026, just few days back, the Republic of Niger, through its military authorities, that's General Abdurrahmani Chiani and the top guys in the Nigerian government, they formally submitted a request to the International Criminal Court and the United Nations Secretary General that they want to leave and they don't want to be under the Rome Statute again. And this is just the ICC, ladies and gentlemen. The withdrawal took full legal effect, 12 months after they've made this. It's going to take full legal effect. So on the 18th of June, by calculation 2027, they are going to be completely out of the ICC. But here is where it gets interesting, because the AES as a bloc declared its withdrawal with immediate effect. The official statement said, by going by the way of calculation from the official statement, is supposed to be on the 18th of June 2027. But going by their declaration, they said immediate effect. That is the AES as a bloc. And this is where it gets interesting, because all three states, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they moved together, they spoke together, and they believe in everything that they say. This is three countries speaking with one voice. You see, if it's Burkina Faso saying it, if it's Mali saying it, people might start coming up with speculation and all this conspiracy theory, but they spoke with one voice. A lot of people initially said it was Niger that was speaking, but Burkina Faso, Mali joining, it makes it a regional bloc speaking. Just look at what effects we would generate if ECOWAS, the bloc that I belong, right now my government belongs still, exist under the influence of ECOWAS. If ECOWAS can speak with one voice, but I do know that they don't have enough cojones to do it. So the AES is saying we no longer want to be part of ICC. If now let me be let me correct myself here. If they said that they don't want to be a part of the ICC again, that is like you are not sure. They said they are leaving immediately with immediate effect. So this is the lion writing its own story. So the story can no longer glorify the hunter. So we have to analyze this thing, because now is the first time an African country or conglomerate of African states have tried to leave the ICC. All right. And the statement is making this type of effect. But it's not the first time it's happening where African states have tried to, leave the ICC for one reason or the other. This is not the first time. Now, the first country to do it, Burundi, did it in 2017. It didn't really, we didn't really cut for much. In 2019, we have some countries outside of Africa, like Philippines, that said they wanted to live under Duterte. It didn't work. South Africa attempted it. Gambia attempted it. But what makes this different? Because a lot of people are saying there is this effect that comes with the statement of the AES state, and the reason why there is an effect behind this statement is because they worked out together and they showed up together. They worked as a united bloc and as an alliance, and they made a statement. It's not only going to be Niger. We all are moving out. Now, is this going to affect the ICC? Yes, it's going to affect the ICC, because the ICC is a construct of the unipolar hegemony to continue to keep African countries beneath. All right. Now that not just any country is walking out, we're talking about countries with the most important strategic resources at this point in time. So we are giving you a real-time information of the effect of anything that these three states declares. So this is a big thing. And, the reason they gave, I'm going to quote, the ICC has become a political instrument. That was what he said from the report. They said if it has become a political instrument used exclusively against African leaders and African states, so they want to get out of it. And is the ICC a political statement? You see, this is the thing that most Western analysts want to, it's not a political. Have they arrested Netanyahu? Have they been able to touch Netanyahu? Or the lies when America went to Afghanistan? Or when they went to Iraq? So where was the ICC at this time? So the ICC, truly, when you look at that statement of Niger Republic, Burkina Faso and Mali, that is a political instrument used exclusively against African leaders and African states. It is very, very correct, spot on. Now, a lot of people are asking the question, is this just symbolism, or, does it actually change anything on the ground? Let me address that. But first of all, we have to understand the history, because if you don't understand the history, you will not understand why this moment matters so much, because it really, really matters. So with regards to the ICC and Africa, this relationship have been troubled from the very beginning. It has always been a back and forth. Africa and the ICC, it was like they created the ICC and they told everyone that, look, this organization, we are putting it on the back of African leaders. If they make mistake to try to go against our hegemonic rule, this is what we are going to use to break their back. All right. So the Rome Statute came into force in 2002. And almost immediately, imagine they created this construct in 2002. And almost immediately, the first case of the ICC, all over them, they were in Africa. They tried their first case in Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, and to this day, they continue to disturb these countries. The next country was Central African Republic. The next was Darfur in Sudan. We're talking as far back as 2002. Till this day, they've not let these countries off the hook. So my question to these countries is, when are you going to take this step that Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali just took? When is your own hunter going to pick up the pen? After these countries, they moved to Kenya. Then from Kenya, they moved to Cote d'Ivoire, then Mali, then Libya, before they took out Gaddafi. So every situation under investigation from the ICC, according to the contextualized statistics, looking at the historic, statistic of the ICC, it's been African countries all over the place. African leaders. Then they are always backed by the United Nations. So all these constructs, just to impose the same unipolar hegemony. Now, you see, the funny aspect of the whole thing, is very, very funny, because it's the African leaders were being indicted, and this indictment is happening not even right inside African continent. A lot of people have asked the question, why did these African leaders not just create their own criminal court of justice? I know that you all know by now, if you're following the AES carefully, you know that they have now created their own criminal court of justice. So they don't really need this old glorified propaganda constructs. They don't need it. I know they don't like what I'm saying, but they don't need it. You see, the United States invaded Iraq in 2003, and thousands of civilians were sent to, wherever they sent them to. Did the ICC prosecute any American official? Even if after many years, we all knew they went to Iraq for oil. They lied and they came, the America told on themselves that they lied about their mission in Iraq. What did the ICC do? Because the United States never ratified the Rome Statute. And when the ICC hinted at investigating the US action in Afghanistan, Washington, I don't know which of the president was there at the time, they sanctioned the ICC prosecutor. And that was against court order. They sanctioned them to the mold. That was the US. So, ladies and gentlemen, the situation of the US is like US, they try to be the world police. They always try to be, the police of everybody. Now, the question we need to ask is that who is going to guard the guards? If the United States has made themselves the global guard, even if nobody selected them to be the global guard, the question is who is going to guard the guards? Is it just about African countries? Should it continue? So now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to think about it for a moment. What kind of court is it that where most powerful nations of this world, like China, United States, I don't know if I should call Israel a powerful state because I don't think they're powerful, right? The court is always not so eager to prosecute them because if you look at the activities of Benjamin Netanyahu in Lebanon, if he was an African president, oh my goodness. Can you compare the military operation in the Sahel, right? Can you compare it to what is going on in Lebanon right now and even Gaza? It's not an operation. We all know what everyone calls it. And the last ICC prosecutor that tried to make a move against them, it was even debunked at a certain point. So this is not a new complaint. In 2017, the African Union itself, the entire African Union, they called for a mass withdrawal from the ICC, citing, that there is a double standard and, they said the ICC have become a neo-colonial tool and, used to humiliate African leaders and control African states and also control African resources. But what happened? At the time the AU was divided, every leader that said they wanted to leave, there was another leader that said we want to stay. And this is where you always have Cote d'Ivoire. They are always on the side of those who always want to stay. If you're talking about the Sahel, there is nothing if Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger was still existing within that conglomerate of Francafrique. I'm telling you, whatever they say they want to do, you will always have Ivory Coast on the other side of the building. So the mass withdrawal from African Union never happened because they did not even agree. So Burundi succeeded, South Africa backed off, Gambia, they reversed their decision after so much international pressure. And what has changed? From that time to now, the AES is just that lion that has picked up the pen. And we need to give them a lot of credit because, this is what the African Union could not do. 3 nations, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. They've done it, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. You see, there is this Hausa proverb that says that a man's tongue, is his own lion. And, there's only one thing it means, that your word, your voice is your power. You don't have any other thing. There is power in the tongue. I'm not speaking from the biblical perspective. There is power in the tongue. EAES has found his voice, and they are using it in a very, very educated, professional, and calculated fashion. And when you have a voice, you don't need permission from AG, you don't need permission from Brussels to govern your people. I'm speaking for the AES every day. Abdul Niang is speaking from the AES every day, for the AES every day. You are speaking for the AES every day, wherever you are. So, do you need any Western propaganda outlet to speak for them? And when we speak for them to a certain extent, they don't believe that humans can love their leaders to this extent. So they say it's propaganda machine. These are machineries that was employed to, and they want to modify AI to do a lot of damage. They use AI slobs to tell you that Burkina Faso has just done something, which the Burkina Faso government have not announced. So what they are trying to do is to be like, oh, at the end of the day, you just come out and be like, everything about Traore is not true, it's AI and all of that. We get the game. I'm talking on the live stream now, it's not AI. So that's the thing. And you see, it is no fluke. You see, the part I want a lot of people to pay close attention to is the benefit of this withdrawal. Because they said it's practical, they've left, and it's immediate. According to the information available to us, the number one reason the AES left the ICC is operational freedom in counterterrorism, because there have been a lot of lies that the military operation in the AES has not gone without war crimes. So let me be direct with you. The AES states are fighting jihadists in their territory, in the tri-border region, in northern Mali, in Niger Republic, and these kinetic theaters of operation where soldiers are making life and death decisions every single day. You see, the Russian and African Corps, they use Lancet drone to hit some JNIM combatants. I think that was yesterday or the day before yesterday, if you see the strike. And this was a counter-offensive because they were the ones that used the drone first. It failed. So there was this advanced reconnaissance operation to search the command control center. They got them and they were about fleeing. I can't count the number. They were inside this pickup truck. But you definitely know what a Lancet drone is going to do to the entire bodies in that pickup truck. So that is just for context anyway, so that they won't say that I'm glorifying what they are doing in the Sahel and all of that, because they are just making the whole thing up and it doesn't make sense anymore. So under the ICC jurisdiction, every military commander in Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, remember that they just removed, it was not so long where the US removed their sanction on Sadio Kamara and one other general in Mali, and the attack happened. So we don't need these people. They are always very, 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 very sneaky in their moves. So we don't need this type of people around us. So to be honest with you, if I order this operation, hey, a lot of generals in Burkina Faso, currently in Mali, they are very, very careful with what they do. To the point that the Malian authority, as a point, they came to address that, we are not carrying out war crime, we are not doing this, we are not doing that. And this is because of this pressure that is coming from the Western lying propaganda, which is championed and spearheaded by France. With this egg and Rome Statute and all of that, they work together. So you can't be sitting in Netherlands and be deciding what is going on in a place. You are making decision over what is going on in the Sahel. You've never been in the Sahel before. You call some people, and they are always selective when it comes to the people they call. They call this failed Beninese journalist called is it Segi Daniel? You call Mali Konate. I think the guy is in Mali and that stays in France. And all those people are going to continue to lie. I don't know how those people wake up every day and they are just so happy when it comes to lying. So there's a proverb that says that a brave man dies once and a coward dies 1,000 times. So, the leaders of the AAS have chosen to be brave, to say to their soldiers, we will not let a foreign court, lie about you and make your work difficult. We will stand by you and will protect you. Remember that Captain Ibrahim Traore said it, Assimi Goita said it, that we will not let anybody disturb our soldiers. So the ICC weapon has been used repeatedly against African leaders who challenge Western interests. Look at the case of Laurent Gbagbo in Ivory Coast. He was dragged to the Hague and held for 7 years. 7 years to be acquitted. If you look at the case of Uhuru Kenyatta, right? The case collapsed entirely. Because after holding Kenyatta for quite a while, they discovered that there was no case. It was just to pressure him. And that is one of, if not the greatest leader that ever came out of Kenya. So, the message that the AES is sending based on the previous record of the ICC is, if you're an African leader who follow the Western playbook, the ICC will leave you alone. That is why they are saying the ICC is a political tool, because they know all these things. If you challenge the status quo, if you demand sovereignty, all right, if you explain, all right, that you want your people to be free, and you expel the occupying forces that they used to call, oh, we are trying to come and save Christians from Muslim that are genociding the Christian and all of that thing. If you partner with new allies like the AES have just partnered with Russia, China, Turkey, suddenly the ICC is going to be very interested. They are going to be too interested in your human rights record. And they are going to start telling lies. Okay, let me give you a story. I don't know if you've heard. There was this Burkinabe guy that just started making videos on TikTok. Let me take you through. Go and look at the number of videos that guy has made, cussing out Captain Ibrahim Traore. Now, it was so amateur to the point that he always wear Burkinabe jersey. He cussed out Captain Ibrahim Traore. Do you know why they use TikTok to launch that kind of campaign? If you look at what the West have been doing recently, they've been trying to talk about human right violation. The Imam in Burkina Faso, is he Imam Kindo and all of that challenge Burkina Faso. Go and look at how the Western media kind of jumped behind that propaganda, and they were like, Burkina Faso is upside down, the capital has scattered, the people are fighting against the leader. Like, who are those people? Who are they, for God's sake? Now, this guy cursing the parent of Captain Ibrahim Traore, cursing Captain Ibrahim Traore, saying a lot of things. But a lot of people were talking about what he was saying. Have you seen the views? You see, when you start making TikTok videos, you need a certain number of videos for the algorithm to recognize you. That's like legit. Every video this guy made cursing out the Burkinabe president. There was even one of the I think none of the videos made less than 300,000 views. There was one of the video that made 1.4 million, I think 1.2 million, 1.4 million views. That is a message to you that was a carefully orchestrated propaganda campaign to back up that false narrative that there's repression of human rights. So human rights is for you to go and be cursing a president like Captain Ibrahim Traore, for that matter. Go and look at the views, look at the pattern, look at the number of videos this guy made. So it's a recent build-up. He failed completely. And when he was getting knocked out and flushed, a lot of people started shouting, oh, God. We are not going to fall for that. We're not going to fall for that. So that is the point. They built up his views. That's what they do. I've been telling a lot of people that there was a time, let me tell you something. I said, anybody can try it out. Just try to prop up the enemies of the AES. You will see the number of views you will rack up. I've been there before. Nobody is going to tell me all these things. I've lived through both sides of the street, and I know what the agenda is. You cannot really understand what the agenda is unless you are on both sides of the story. So you really, really will be able to understand. So, you see, when the AES says that, the ICC is a political tool, you definitely know what they are talking about. They use it to back up different things they are trying to do. So now this is something a lot of analysts are missing. The AES is not just a security alliance anymore. As of this very week, the June 23rd to 25th, the minister from the three AES states, they had a meeting in Ouagadougou to accelerate economic integration between all the countries. And that is a big statement. They are building a common market. That is what that meeting means. I wanted to make video on that meeting, but I just felt like, all right, I'm not going to do it. Now they are integrating their economy. All right. That means they want to incorporate their markets. So they are working on a common currency. So trade barriers, they are going to be coming down. And what answer does the West ask for this? Is to continue to fuel terrorism, to fund terrorism. Have you seen a video recently where the terrorists' motorcycles got empty? So they were pushing their motorcycles. It's to tell you, when we're saying it on this platform that the Malians are cutting out the supply chain. They are destroying the logistic capability. A lot of people just feel like maybe we're just saying all those things for propaganda and all of that. But you can see the direct result on the ground there. So the jihadists are now pushing motorcycles. All of them. That was not a strategy. That was the Malian forces snuffing life out of these people. And you saw what the Russian African Corps did recently with the fiber optic drone. The fuel they struggled to go and buy from God knows where, they destroyed everything. So you are going to walk on your foot where the drone can catch up with you very, very quickly. Because you definitely know they don't live within the country. They come from neighboring countries. They do all of those things. So, it is just very beautiful. So if you are inviting foreign investment into this new economic bloc, do you want the investors to worry about the ICC? That the ICC could destabilize the government tomorrow? No, you want stability. You want predictability. You want the world to know that the AES governs itself and is a real sovereign state. So if you want to partner with us, nobody is coming to disturb you. The ICC is not going to be saying that, oh, you are doing this, you are doing that. No, it's not going to happen. So leaving the ICC is part of building that confidence. All right? If you say that every potential partner, whether it's Russia, China, Turkey, anyone else, we are not a protectorate. Nigeria is still a protectorate. But the AES is telling everybody that we are not a French protectorate. We are not under the French laws and, we are not under their dictatorship or whatever. We are a sovereign bloc. Deal with us differently. Deal with us as equals. And every move they make is a reinforcement behind that statement. So, you see, there's a proverb that says that he who dares, right, wins. All right? And if you don't seize the opportunity today, you will be unable to seize it tomorrow. A lizard in Mali will not become an alligator elsewhere. Those guys are lions already. If you look at the move they make, the type of challenges they confront, they are lions already. I know a lot of people will be like, ECOWAS can take the same decision. I am telling you now, a puppet yesterday is a puppet today and will continue to be a puppet forever. Ruto will not change. A lizard in Kenya will not become an alligator somewhere else. No, it's not going to happen. So long live Ruto and his bad decision making. Yoruba used to say, when you see an elephant, say it that, oh, I just saw an elephant. You see these three presidents in the AES. Anywhere they stomp their feet, you can see what happens. Miracles happen. I don't believe in miracles. But if you look at the economic development in their nation, let's say the truth, though. Ruto is a lizard. It won't become an alligator. And I'm saying this unapologetically. So the AES saw the opportunity because they can see that the global order is shifting. The old world order, the rule-based world, the Western dominated institution, they are losing their legitimacy, starting with the Russian war and looking at the escalation in the Sahel. The ICC's credibility is at its all-time low because what have they been able to do to what Israel is doing in Gaza. All right? What have they been able to do about it? So the credibility is at an all-time low, and European scholars admit this. They know it. And the AES said, now, this is the time to walk away and build something new. Build something new with ourselves as a block. So families, before we go, if you're finding the analysis very, very impactful, you can help us to hit the like button, because it kind of lifts the video up, and it makes me feel like you guys, you really, really appreciate what we do, and it gives us the courage to come back, because this is how we know that what we are doing is valuable, and it will encourage me to come back again some other time. So, and for those that normally send me different information and you be like, okay, I should speak about this, every time you tell me to speak about certain issues, I've always done. I've always honored your request and I've always spoken about it. So the only thing you can do to appreciate what we do is just help us by hitting the like button. Because imagine if I made a video about Sudan and they took it off. Some people, they knocked it down, they destroyed the reach. In fact, initially they said this video cannot be they took it from public. They said it does not have global reach. Then they brought it down, like they scattered everything because it exposed too much facts. I don't have the time to come here and say irrelevant things. When I come, I don't just want to look too serious, because if I am too serious, then the video becomes a problem and they are going to take it out. So that's why I try to dilute it once in a while. But even the diluted version is still very dangerous for their agenda. Now, if you look at what the AES is currently doing, they were the first to expel French military bases in Africa. Nobody is gonna try. Is it Djibouti, or is it Kenya, or is it DRC that want to take out or is it Nigeria or Ghana? Yes, Ghana. Is Ghana going to tell the US to get out right now? Niger did it. They told them to leave the Agadez drone base. Burkina Faso kicked out the French. Mali did. I ain't going to get this anywhere. Benin to tomorrow. Even though I love the Beninois people. These are my people. I'm a Yoruba person. Right? And we have a lot of Yoruba in Benin. I love those people to the moon. But at the end of the day, a lot of people a lot of leaders, they've made a lot of bad decisions. And you see, when you make these bad decisions, you cannot undo those. See, you see what Ruto is creating today in Kenya. I don't know that president that wants to come and change it. You see, that's the problem. To now change those bad decisions, I can see the Namibian president has just said that they don't want France to come and pay for their oil and all of that. They don't want to partner with France, because the moment you partner with them, maybe sometimes in the future you'll be like, oh, we don't want to partner again. Then you will see some people, they will call themselves Mujahid, and they will start reading the Quran, and they will start wielding different type of AK. Like, don't even deal. See, me, I'm telling you now, based on what is going on in the Sahel, when you see France, change your direction. Change your direction. Because what is bad in, okay, I don't like how you're moving anymore. I want this relationship to be over. That's not France. They are going to start funding some muftakos from the So, like, I mean, this is just the reality. We are saying it. Niger said it's our uranium. We want to use it to develop ourselves. And what was their next approach? They said, okay, Niger has our uranium. The uranium we mine through Orano. They said Niger is holding our uranium. And what happened? President Abdurrahmani Chiani said, if you want your uranium, we can transport the uranium right to your doorstep in Paris. The next thing, they kept quiet. They wanted to make the whole uranium saga. They wanted to turn it on. We send it to you. We have more. We have abundance. Don't worry. We'll send it to your doorstep. we did not hear anything about uranium again. The next time we saw them, they sent JNIM to go and get the uranium for them. So these are the people, some countries like Ghana, they are having bilateral cooperation with to come and defend them. People that are using JNIM. So it means if you start seeing JNIM encroaching your territory, you know what just happened, because you partner with people whose forces, they are foreign legion at the JNIM. So certain countries' foreign legion in the Sahel are the JNIM. I just want you to know that now. All right. So they withdrew, expelled France from their territory. They withdrew from ECOWAS, right? And that was the first time in history that any member state of ECOWAS have withdrew from ECOWAS. They formed the Mutual Defense Pact. Bilateral cooperation is different from a mutual defense pact. And that is the same decision they are trying to take now when it comes to their bilateral collaboration with Benin Republic. Now, if Benin Republic is going to be able to chase that, I don't know. All right? They launched the Joint Military Command Structure. That is the Unified AES Forces. And we've seen what they are doing on the line of contact and on the ground. And now they are in the process of creating a common currency. Their economy is integrated. They have a unified central banking system that is already functional. They've already created the blueprint, like the unified banking system, the resources, the percentage, the taxation that is going to continue to keep it running. They are already working it. Like it's like what they're doing right now to me is like they are working, they are testing the engine. Like, how well can this engine work? That's what they are doing now. They've created the different structures and now they are test running those structures. Let's see how it's going to work. Okay, let's see the faults. If it's okay, what can we do? That's what they are doing. Those guys are smart. Those guys are not just I've not seen those type of, like, I want to believe that a lot of African presidents, they can produce good, but I don't know why they've decided to be what they are. So, I don't know. And if you look at it, a lot of people have been like, oh, they've entered a military cooperation with Russia. Some people call it partnership, whatever you want to call it. Russia, China, Turkey, and Iran. I just want you to know that now. They've entered a military cooperation, defense cooperation, sharing of technology with Iran. That was the last one. And that was at the early stage of this last conflict they had. And now they've withdrawn from the ICC. So do you see the pattern? Each move is a build-up from the last move. And each one says something. We are sovereign. We decide on our own future. Nobody decides for us. So here's the question I want you to think about. What institution is next? The AES left ECOWAS. They've left the ICC. Is the African Union safe from this metallic is the African Union not next? So this is a warning. You better be careful with how you move when it comes to the AES. If not, yeah, Mozambique found gas in the Cabo Delgado region, and the next thing, Islamic State in Mozambique. You should know how the people, that you've been dealing with for several years, the way they work, the way they operate with terrorists. You see, these terrorists are their foreign legions. You should know. They don't want to risk their citizens because they feel like the blood of their citizen is too sacred to be dropped in the dusty soil of Africa. So let's recruit some, this is how they work. And I hope a lot of people understand this. So, it's very, very okay. And a lot of people are saying that Even if the African Union is not next, is the AES going to join BRICS? A lot of people are asking this question. And if you look at the resources they bring, the AES is going to be a serious addition to any bloc right now. We're talking about the sovereign state here. We're talking about the sovereign bloc. So these are not fantasies. These are not fantasy. These are not just questions, some questions that are coming out of the blue. And if you look at the population, the AES, they represent over 70 million people, right? And it controls most of, when you talk about the most strategic resources on the planet, they control uranium, lithium, gold, rare earth minerals, tantalum. I was shocked when I heard that tantalum is in the Niger Republic. And the world needs these resources desperately. So and now it has something even more valuable. And that is the sovereignty. That is its independence as an African nation, which is not a conversation you can incorporate so many African countries in. So no foreign court can touch its leaders, no foreign economic blockade. If they want to do it, how are they going to do it? Because they've been able to form another organization that influence their geopolitics. Look, this is the emergence of multipolar bloc in Africa. So no foreign military can operate on the soil of the AES without their permission. Look at how the US came to Nigeria. Can they go to any of these states like that? Macron had a cooperation with our own president in Nigeria on phone. He did not even write any letter. They didn't send any envoy. They didn't send any diplomat. No foreign military. It was a phone call. So like I told you, a lizard will not become an alligator. If you know what that statement means. All right. There's a Yoruba language. There's a Yoruba proverb that says that the sword that kills a lion can also kill a goat. So what does that mean for the AES? It means that the same tool that the West used to dominate Africa, the International Criminal Court, economic institution, and military alliances, can be turned around. The AES is building its own sword. And that is his own court, his own currency, his own alliances, his own army. The army is now going to be going from 15,000 to 100,000, over 100,000. So they mean business. They are not going to tell France to come and defend their sovereign territory. So the lion family is not... It's not the hunter telling the story of the skirmish that happened between the hunter and the farmer anymore. No. A lot of people are asking, I've received some questions, and that was why I even made this video in the first place. Because when everybody released the news, some people said that, what about 1 year waiting period under the Rome Statute? Because it's going to be in 2027. He said, doesn't that mean that the ICC still has jurisdiction over the AES until June 2027? Oh, that's a good question. On paper, yes. The Rome Statute says that the withdrawal take effect 1 year after notification, which is 2027. All right? But here is the reality. The ICC has no enforcement mechanism. You have to understand this. It relies on member states to arrest and surrender suspects. Okay, if all 3 AES states refuse to cooperate, the ICC cannot physically compel them. Through any means or form, they cannot do it. So the immediate effect declaration by the AES is a political statement. And it's backed by hard reality. There is no ICC police force anywhere in the world. There is no ICC army. Have you heard anyone before? Maybe you will say the US. But they are not. Because even the ICC has prosecuted the United States. Right? So there is only the cooperation of states, and the AES have withdrawn that cooperation. If it was ECOWAS, it was a different situation. When a state gets out, ECOWAS can say we are mobilizing a reserve force. So you are dealing with three states within a bloc with unified interests. So when one speaks, When they relate amongst themselves. So nobody can physically compel them. So, I mean, when the AES made that declaration, you know, a lot of people said it was a political statement. But this is not just a political statement. This is a full enforcement. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. So let me pick one more question before I go for those that has question on Telegram. Said, don't this hurt the reputation of the AES internationally? You know, I know you should know the answer to this question. I know when Niger Republic said they wanted to sell their uranium, France said anybody buying the uranium is buying France's uranium. But now we know the uranium does not belong to France again. Niger told them, we will give you your quota. The one you mined, the one you process, will give it to you. Now we have Nigerians that are processing it. So don't worry, we'll ship it to your doorstep. So I don't think it's going to hurt their reputation internationally. So, ladies and gentlemen, you see, let me be honest with you. What reputation are we even talking about? The reputation of being a defendant in a foreign court, right? What reputation are you going to have defending yourself in Hague, in Netherlands? So, the reputation of having your leader indicted while Western official walk free, is that even sensible at all? They cannot hold Netanyahu, but they can lock up Gbagbo for almost 8 years. What does that even say about you as an African? So what do you think? Do you think anybody care about international do you think anybody care about international reputation and all of these things that you're talking about? So what is even who is that person that justifies okay that this person has gotten international reputation or not? Is it the US? Is it Israel? Is it UK? Is it Canada? Which country? You know the United States funds the ICC. They fund almost all these organizations. So that's why whoever dance to their tune, they are going to, is going to escape the sword. So, for me, I mean, to be honest with you, the reputation that the question is it going to affect the reputation is not even what it's not worth protecting. It's not worth keeping. There is nothing reputable about being a member of the International Criminal Court as an African state. So the AES is betting, and I think the bet is correct, that the world is multipolar now. And China does not care about the ICC. Russia does not care about the ICC. The Gulf states, that cannot even produce anything by themselves, they do not care about the ICC. So the AES key partners, for me, these are the AES key partners. So what is the point in being ICC centric? But for me, the reputational cost is minimal. They will just launch the same propaganda they have been launching. So for me, the sovereignty gain is enormous. They continue to enforce their sovereignty. So for me, I will be very honest. If a court that was created by the United States and the unipolar world, for 24 years, they were prosecuting African leaders. Immediately, they created that International Criminal Court, this Rome Statute. They ran a campaign to start capturing African leaders. What's the sense in being a part of such organization? Because you want to wear suits and suits will make you feel better? So, when you look at the hypocrisy, you just tell them to say no more. Have they been able to do anything about Netanyahu? If they cannot do anything about Netanyahu, the ICC should shut up about the Alliance of Sahel States and what they've said. Until you capture Netanyahu, don't talk to us. All right? Because what is good for the goose is good for the gander. If you cannot capture Netanyahu, forget about. In fact, we are supposed to be speaking as African nation now. Say forget about Africa. But since there is a lot of puppets, and I told you, a lizard yesterday cannot become an alligator today. So let's just say the AES does not care. So So our fathers will say, a brave man dies once and a coward dies 1,000 times. So the AES have chosen to be brave. They are writing their own story and they are moving forward. Because if you look at it clearly, what the West said was that the West said, oh, France have left them and all that. How will they survive without France? How will they survive? Like, how are they going to be able to do it? But we can see that they are not just surviving, they are forging ahead, they are moving further, they are making big, like the AES is covering a lot of ground. And if the West did not impose their foreign legion, which are the JNIM and the ISGS and all these other organizations, we know who they work for. Russia, you know, apart from Russia, who else produced different drones that we are seeing? Which people produce the vampire drone, otherwise called Baba Yaga drone? Is it not the West? So why is it in Mali? You already know who their foreign legions are. They do it everywhere they go. They did it to Russia. That was in Chechnya. They did it in China. That was the Uyghur. They've almost done it everywhere they go. Any smart country will not be eager to be in any type of collaboration with these people. It's just the truth. The proof is in the pudding. So when people talk about international reputation, for me, I don't see anything, any reasonable thing in this whole international reputation and all of that. For me, maybe you feel good wearing suits. That is it. That is the only relationship you can have with the West. But if you are not West centric, definitely you know that this decision that the AES state have just taken is the best decision that anybody can take. So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to waste your time. We've stayed for too long on this live stream. I plan to just do this live stream for 30 minutes. How we got to 57 minutes, honestly, I can't explain, but I'm so sorry that I took your time for this long. But I want to appreciate everybody for making it back to the live stream. Tomorrow, if you have any topic that you want us to cover, probably tomorrow you can just put it in the comment section. I am going to do my research overnight and I'm going to bring the topic to you and I'm going to give you the best analysis. But I want a topic that at least we have multiple people agreeing on. Okay, let's talk about this topic. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cryptography Talk. I really appreciate you. And everybody that donated to the live stream, I really want to say a very, very big thank you. So, homeland or death is not just a statement. We are making the statement and we are standing by it. Andrea has been here for a very long time. And Andrea will continue to be here. We'll continue this fight. It's a fight that is worth it. I will continue to support our leaders arrogantly and unapologetically. So what anybody wants to do about that, they should go and do. You can call us Russia propaganda. It doesn't shift my follicle one bit. So, I mean, we are doing the best. So I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the members. I want to thank every single person in the Android community. Everybody. I don't want to mention a single name, and I want to say a very big thank you to By Design and Omaketa. See, everybody in short. Obsidian Kitty, um, um, everybody, everybody. So thank you and God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. But I'll be waiting for your topic. Anything you want me to analyze at all, just send it to me. If I say I should start selecting videos that we can do, they are too much. So with the knowledge I have, just pick up on any topic. It will be at least it's challenge. I want something challenging, but equally very, very interesting that we address our geopolitical need right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, give me the opportunity to prove to you that I am at your service once more. So, representing the Android community, it's your boy Android signing out. Enough said, but before I go, do well to hit the like button, don't forget, because it takes us up there. Thank you and bye bye.